It is your Classifying Shapes Part 2 video. So now this is going to have a little bit more vocabulary, and then we're going to do some practice problems and examples. So copy down these two vocabulary words. The first are parallel lines. This simply means that they are the same distance apart everywhere. Okay, so they're never ever going to cross. Okay, they're always the same distance apart. Okay, here are a couple examples. Perpendicular are two lines that cross and they meet at a right angle. Okay, so not just that they cross, it's important that you know that it's a right angle where they meet. So here are a couple examples. And this little kind of box that's created signifies or tells you that that is in fact a right angle. A right angle, if you can remember this, it just looks like a capital L, okay? So these are perpendicular lines that meet at a capital L or a right 90-degree angle. Okay, here are a couple examples that confuse us a lot. Here we have two lines, and they are across from each other, just like these are, but they are not the same distance apart everywhere. Okay, notice how they're getting closer here, and if you remember, lines that go on forever, so eventually these two are going to intersect. Okay, this is not perpendicular. Okay, these two lines, yes, they cross, but they do not cross and create a 90-degree right angle. Okay, so be sure you keep that clear in your mind. Okay, go ahead and pause and copy down these definitions. All right. Okay, two more. Line and line segment. Okay, a line, as I just mentioned, is a straight path and it goes on forever in both directions. Okay, you usually see it. Here's an example with arrows to tell you, yes, this is going in both directions. A line segment is part of a line, okay? So it's just one middle part of that whole line, and it has two endpoints. So here's an example of a line segment. These endpoints are dots, and it just tells you this is where it starts, and this is when it stops, okay? And they're called endpoints. Okay, and I just threw this in there just good for you to know. Array has an endpoint, so it tells you where it starts, and then it's a line. So it goes on forever, but only in this direction, okay? Notice the difference between the three. Okay, pause to copy. Okay, and then our last two new words, adjacent sides. It's going to be two sides in a shape where they meet, okay? And opposite sides are two sides that are across from one another. Okay, a lot of times you hear this word opposite and you like to think hot, cold, good, bad. It's not that kind of opposite, okay? It's where two sides of a shape are across from one another, okay? So think about you are sitting across from your computer right now, okay? You're on the opposite side of it. So here's an example. Here I have a rectangle. Okay, I have sides A, B, C, and D. And in this example, I've gone ahead and shown you that these are, in fact, 90-degree angles. If it's not shown to be 90-degree angles, it most likely is not. Okay, and then here I even gave you the endpoints. That's going to help you to see right now where the adjacent sides meet. Remember, they meet at a point. Okay, so take a moment, pause, and copy down adjacent sides and opposite sides. All right, so adjacent sides here, remember, it's where two different sides are going to meet at a point. So A and D, let's look at side A and D. And if you follow the sides across, they meet at that point there. D and C, same thing. You take these two sides and they meet right there. Okay, you can say the same with A and B, and C and B. So the sides are meeting at a point. Okay? Now the opposite sides, again, they are across from one another, as you are to your computer. So if we look at side A and side C, they are across. They're never going to touch because they're across from one another. They're opposite. Okay, same thing for D and B. Okay? Now, going back to what we just talked about with parallel lines and perpendicular lines, I want to pull that in. So let's look at this shape and kind of see if we can figure out the parallel lines. Again, parallel means two lines that will never ever touch, and they're the same distance from one another. So A and C, these are never going to touch, okay? And they're the same distance apart. Okay, same thing for D and B. These are also parallel. Okay, perpendicular. In this case, A and D, if they meet here, cross at a right angle. Okay, so in this example, all of your adjacent sides are perpendicular, and all of your opposite sides are parallel. That will not always be the case, but it is in this example. Okay, here's our practice for you this evening. I've numbered them 1 through 8. For numbers 1 through 4, you can just put a PA if it's parallel, a PE if it's perpendicular, and an N if it's neither. Okay, so look at these lines, think about the meanings, go back, look at your definitions if you need to, rewind and go back through the practice example. Okay, which of these are parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Okay, 5, 6, 7, and 8, I'd like you to use this shape here. I did not give you endpoints, and notice that you do not have any right angles. This is not a capital L, okay? Go ahead and tell me what adjacent sides there are, what are the opposite sides, which lines are parallel, and which are perpendicular, or are there any? Okay, so again, here's your homework. Rewind if you need to. Good luck.